You know what's exhausting? Doing everything right, but your life has not moved an inch. You've upgraded your appearance, you've done the work, you've healed your inner child, you're repeating your affirmations, you're doing the vision boards, you are literally doing everything right. And yet you wake up most mornings wondering, why does it feel like nothing is actually changing? It almost feels like you're playing the role of your dream self, of your higher self, but not actually living her reality. And it's not because you're lazy. It's not because your manifestations are blocked. It's not because you're not doing enough. You're stuck because you're subconsciously choosing the old timeline over the new unfamiliar one. You're stuck choosing safety over truth. So basically, your mind is telling you that you want the new timeline, you want the new life, you want the dream love, the dream reality, the dream money and income. But your nervous system is secretly whispering in the background, which runs 90% of the show, saying, but we're not safe there yet. And until you don't get safe choosing the new timeline, you will never actually get there. You will never actually jump into your new life. You'll know you want it, consciously you'll feel good about it, but in the background what is playing out is I'm scared, I'm unsafe, this doesn't feel right, this doesn't feel good, we're not used to this, and that is what continues the loop of the life you don't want. The version of yourself that stayed small because you feared other people would leave, the version of you that doesn't feel worthy in love, doesn't feel worthy of being chosen, is scared that someone's gonna leave every 5 seconds. That version of you is still driving. And until you don't stop feeding her with your thoughts, your habits, your routines, your energy, your emotional bandwidth, she is going to continue having the fuel to drive the car. This is the root of the problem, and no one's really talking about how to actually get through it and to get onto the other side, because mindset work, subconscious reprogramming, it's all a piece of the pie, but it only gets you so far. You start to hit a bottleneck. You start to not go further. You're like, well, I can name all the patterns. I know my attachment style. I know what I need to work on. I'm actively doing the work, but nothing is changing. And it's because your mind has ascended quicker than your body. You have to have both in coherence. The mind and the heart, the body all need to be aligned. And that comes down to 3 things. You need to act the same way, you need to feel the same way, and you need to think the same way 24/7, dominantly into your new timeline, into your dream state. That is going to be a whole other video because you have to master that as well. But you're not truly rewiring your identity if your nervous system is still addicted to the emotions of your old timeline, your attachments, anxiety over functioning, over performing, overdoing. When you choose a new timeline, aka a new reality, you choose a new identity, a new set of thoughts, a new set of beliefs, a new story, a new emotional state, a new way of being and acting. So if this is your new reality and this is where all the things that you want to experience live and exist, but you're still emotionally attached to this timeline, even though you don't want to experience what is happening here, you are going to stay here. Daily, you are either thinking things that align with this undesired place, either you are feeling things, you are telling yourself things, you are reacting from this state. There are so many things that keep you here. Even if you're feeling this state, even if you're thinking about this state, if you're reacting from this state, you're still having a mismatch. It is not going to align seamlessly and quickly and instantly. Let's take love for an example, our favorite subject. We are in this reality, right? Where we are perhaps experiencing a love where it's almost like you almost get the guy and then something happens. It's the hot and cold. It's the push and pull dynamic. And you're like, I hate this. Like, I literally do not want to experience this. You've journaled the type of man you want, the relationship you want. You are so clear and conscious of what you actually want to experience. And that experience lives right here. And I'm covering this because I need to get my nails done. It's looking a little bad. So what you've outlined is clear to you, right? You've got clarity and that's living right here. That experience of love is right here. But what happens is we've had an emotional experience in this reality that is the opposite of what we want to experience. But because it's been an emotional experience, it has now stored in our body. So now we are attached to the person that we have experienced the undesired version of love through. So as much as you are like, I know what I want to experience and I know what I don't want to experience, because you have an emotional attachment to that person still, and you're constantly still playing like, why did this not work out? What did I do wrong? What has happened? I know what I want to experience and this is the kind of love I want. Why can't he just give it to me? You are still attached emotionally to this experience in some way. And so you're still attached to the old timeline. So you cannot have this reality and this reality exist at the same time. You're either giving your undivided energy, attention, every part of your being to this timeline fully, or you're not. So in order to get to the love that you actually want to experience, the entire old reality has to go. The people in that reality dissolve, the places, they dissolve, everything dissolves in this timeline. And I don't mean like everyone just vanishes in your life all of a sudden. What I mean by that is the people, the places, and the things that are outputting the undesirable reality and experience to you, they have to be let go. They cannot join you in this desired reality. So when you decide you want something, when you decide you want this experience in love, this amount of money, anything that is not aligned to that has to be let go of mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, in every single facet. You let that person, place, and thing go. Anything attached to the old experience that you are over wanting and having has to go. And I'm not saying that you text them and you're like, okay, you're no longer in my life. You emotionally cut them off, you energetically cut them off. It's just no longer an experience you allow yourself to think, feel, believe, and tell yourself. It is literally cut and dead and gone to the side. The only thing that gets your attention, your energy, your emotions is the experience that you want right here. Anything not aligned with what you want does not get your real estate, your energetic real estate, your mental real estate, any of it. Before I walk you through how to actually start choosing your new timeline, I want to show you one of my favorite little hacks for starting to tap into your energy of the next level self before she even fully exists in the 3D yet. So one of my favorite cheat codes for actually anchoring into the next timeline that you're calling in is to not visualize yourself, it's to see yourself, literally. So you're going to want to pull up Face app for this. Grab a recent selfie and let's get to work. For me, it's not about drastically changing how I look, it's about subtly elevating what's already there. So for me, I like to smooth out the skin. So I usually do a 1 so that we're not going crazy here. That's looking good. And then I want to find the essence of my new energy. So that's where we're going to go into the impressions. And I like to go for, again, natural because we're not trying to change anything crazy. So I'm going to go with cute. We're going to go for level 2. See how that's really subtle, but it's just like adding an oomph. And then I'm going to go into hairstyles because my next level self is going to have thick, luscious hair. And I need to see it on myself first. I'm going to go with level 2. And this is basically what I do. I do the impression and then I'm changing my hair because I want that volume. And then I'm just smoothing out my skin really. And then I might add on a no makeup filter. And that is literally me capturing the energy of what I'm manifesting. I use this tool to really see the version of myself that I've been scripting, that I've been visualizing, that I've been affirming. So now this is the old photo. And now the new me. This is still me, but I just feel upgraded, I feel embodied, and I just feel tuned into a new higher frequency. It's a very micro shift, but it's a visual anchor that supports everything we're about to walk through. And if you want to try this, it's free to download and it's super easy to use as you just saw. Just use the link in my description box or you can scan the QR code here on the screen. If you're anything like me, a visual person, you're going to use this more than you think, especially with the pro version, which is what I recommend. It's only $5 a month with the annual plan and it comes with a 7-day free trial. Now let's start shifting timelines in a way that your body and your brain are going to actually register. So now that you visually have anchored into your next level self, your next version, let's walk through how to actually choose her timeline with your actions, with your emotional calibration, with your thoughts, and just the way that you move through your day. Right now, you are in a cycle of emotional looping. Why am I not further along? Why is this ache still there? Why am I still hurting? Why do I feel like I'm invisible? Why is nothing going right? Why am I doing all the right things but nothing's changing? Those are consistent loops that you're telling yourself. Even if you're like, okay, I've surrendered, God, take the wheel, Vikita, take the wheel, you are still looping daily, every second. This is your micro self-concept. You are still telling yourself a version of the story you don't want to experience. You're still looping these inconsistent thoughts. And because you're tapped in, you're spiritually tapped in, you go into research mode, right? Because you're like, I'm so intelligent, like I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to go listen to the podcast. I'm going to do a little bit more research. I'm going to watch a few more YouTube videos and I am going to fix this. You're scripting into the version of yourself who has it all, like you're doing all the things, but it's just still out of reach. You're waking up and it's not there. You're waking up, it's not happened. I need you to stop all of that. You're not missing a tool. You are missing an emotional signal shift. It is all vibrational based. And I'm not telling you you have to be happy 24/7. That is not what raising your vibration and getting into the frequency of the things you want means. It simply means your dominant thoughts, what you think every single day, what you mostly think, what you mostly tell yourself, what you mostly feel, have to be aligned with what you want to experience. If you slip up and you end up going into a little bit of a thought loop like, oh God, my life sucks, it's like, that's fine. It doesn't ruin anything. You just quickly snap and you reorient back to what you want to experience. Right now, you're perhaps visualizing the new version of you, the new experiences and the new reality, while making micro decisions that align with the old reality, the old experiences. The micro self-talk is aligned with the old experiences. The micro thoughts, the micro feelings, those are all aligned with the things that you don't want. And so you see how there's a disconnect. You're visualizing, scripting, affirming, and like to the new reality, but then as soon as that is done, the morning routine is over, you're back into, why aren't they texting me? I wonder what I did wrong. We can't be doing that. You need to be in alignment. You have to choose alignment over everything. And that is why I say that just because you have an off day or an off couple of days, just because you slip into this old mindset 1 or 2 days or like accidentally, it is not going to change anything. It's as long as you are just mostly in alignment, as long as you're actively choosing alignment rather than just consciously running a loop and a pattern that you don't want to experience, but because it's familiar, because it's safe, because it's habitual, you keep going back there while then consciously thinking of this new life that you want, but not doing anything to actually align with it. Timeline shifts happen when the version of you that needed to beg, to chase, to fix things, to prove things, to add more to her plate, to do more, to have more, to put in more effort, finally dies. You kill her off and you do not revive her. And this all happens not just metaphorically where, think about she's dead, okay? It has to happen emotionally. You have to cut emotional ties to that version of yourself that feels safe begging, that feels safe chasing, that feels safe adding a little extra to her plate, even though the peas are spilling off and the carrots are already on the floor. There's no more room on the plate, but I need to just add a little bit more because maybe this will work. That version of you has to no longer feel safe living in your body. That is the emotional signal that has to die and that has to shift before you arrive at your new life. So I'm going to give you the real work, no more mindset work, the real actual work that is shifting all of this. Step number 1 is to interrupt the loop. We do not need to be journaling about your old version of self anymore. She's done. We don't need to therapize her anymore. We don't need to figure out why she did certain things and maybe it came from childhood. It's very great to understand your wounds, behaviors, and your core wounds and where they came from, but you don't need to keep her alive anymore by constantly journaling about her. She doesn't need another journal entry. You already know all the things. She just needs to be released. So how do you do this? You don't just notice the pattern. You refuse to let it play out. That is the death. That is the shift that you need. So like I said, you are smart. You already know your patterns. You're self-aware. Like you know all the things. So don't let them continue to play out. Don't feed into them. That is how you break the loop. That is how instantly it's done and you collapse time because you no longer focus on that. You are just focused on the thing that you want and you're aligning only with that emotionally. Because what happens when we continue to journal, even though we know all of our patterns, that is very beginner level. That is someone starting out from scratch who's going from literally unconscious mind, body, soul, everything, trying to just gain a little self-awareness. You already have self-awareness. You know your patterns. You don't need to journal more about them because that is consistently playing into that emotional signal, which is what you are giving out. You're feeding the emotional signal with your energy, and that emotional signal is not what you want to be emitting. Step number 2 is anchoring the new reality with micro embodiment. So this means not waiting until it feels right, not doing the thing until you feel motivated, not waiting till you see evidence of it being allowed where you're being validated that this thing is actually real and I can actually have this, for you to feel it. Feel it now, do it now, act as if now. That is literally the secret sauce. You're reverse engineering the energy of the woman that you keep seeing in your mind. You know, the version of you that you crafted with the Face app, that is the version that is now being born. And you have to live, breathe, and do anything and everything she would do. If she would not text him back, don't. If she would not double text, don't. If she wouldn't settle for breadcrumbs, don't. If she wouldn't question her worth or her value and what she is bringing into the world, don't. It's no longer about what you feel ready for. It's about what your next level self, your next timeline demands you no longer tolerate. You're not waiting to feel like you're ready to take a stand in life. You're ready to change. You're ready to not do the thing. You don't wait till you're ready. You just do it as if it's already who you are, because that is how you get to being that person. And step number 3, which is probably the most important, and this is to regulate to the reality you say that you want. You're not just aligning with a new reality or a new timeline. You have to be able to hold it. This is where things go awry for most people, because nobody is really talking about this. Now a little bit of people are talking about it because it's literally the secret sauce. But I said the other point was the secret sauce, but this is the secret sauce. You have to be able to hold what you want. You have gotten so safe in the old, even though it's like, oh my God, that's crap. I don't want to experience that. You feel safe there. It feels good. It's normal. It's like, okay, yep, I don't like this, but we're good here. We're safe. We know what this feels like. We've got eyes all around. We've been here. We're comfortable here. Okay? We need to be doing that with the new reality. You need to be looking around and feeling good, feeling safe with the love, with the money, with the this, with the that. You got to look around and be like, yep, we've been here before. This is a good space to be. It feels safe. We love it. She's comfortable here. And just keep on coming. Keep bringing it on. Bring on more money, bring on more love, because it's welcome here. And we're safe here experiencing that. So these could be things like you being safe, resting without guilt, resting without sitting on the couch, coming up with a to-do list of unnecessary tasks. This could be you receiving without questioning that person's intentions. Why are they giving me that? This is suspicious. This is fishy. No, you have to be okay. You have to train yourself to receive without thinking that someone's coming in suspicious. This could look like feeling chosen, feeling desirable, feeling sexy and attractive and magnetic without actually having validation of it, without someone actually having to tell you those things about yourself. This is where you come up with your own things, right? Like you have your things that you are trying to rewire in safety. Those are a few examples, but this is the real timeline work that actually changes things instantly. It's not poetic. It's not an aesthetic vision board. It's just emotional execution that actually delivers. Of course, there's a lot of nuances to all of this, which I am more than happy to go deeper into. So leave a comment down below if you want more of these videos. But I just wanted to give you this to interrupt your loop right now. I wanted this video to be you closing your current loop. When you leave this video, if your brain starts spiraling into things that you don't want anymore, but it's just like something you can't control, it's like a force in your mind that just pops up, I want you to ask yourself 2 things. What timeline does this action, this behavior, this thought, this emotion belong to? And 2, who am I rehearsing to be? The version of me that I don't want, the old me, or the woman I came here to be, the woman of my dreams, the woman that lives in timeline number 6 with my entire dream life. Because the real shift does not come from doing more. I need you to get that into your head. You don't need to do more. It comes from no longer leaking your energy into the woman that was only built on survival. That version of you was not built in thriving mode, in happiness, in joy, in safety. That version of you was not built to thrive. So stop leaking your energy into her. So understand that you are not stuck. You are just choosing, and you get to choose right now who is coming to the forefront to play. A quick shout out to FaceApp for sponsoring today's video. If you want to make sure you are really anchoring visually into your next level self and try the visual anchoring tool that I shared, download the app using the link in my description box, or you can scan the QR code here on the screen. You will be surprised how one small little energetic shift, even through a selfie, can stop you from choosing the old timeline. And if you want to just keep the momentum going because you're like over it and you're done with the old you, watch this video next.